Hi there, welcome to my hearth. In this video, I'm going to talk about your part to play in this transition, where we are all transitioning to a new economy that is in line with the evidence that we have about climate change, the emergency. In the last two newsletters, I've spoken about the Bridges theory of transition, and in this slideshow, I'll talk to you a bit about that. That we are, I believe, in this experience of having had the impact of COVID begun, we are in the wilderness zone now, and we were in the beginnings zone, sorry, the ending zone. But really, I want to speak today about your part in all of this, as a leader, as a contributor to the change that we all need to be. For me, I have always led my career based on passion. That's from when I started as a monk, when I worked amongst homeless people and was the chief exec, aged 22 to 25, of an organisation working on the streets in London and living on the streets with homeless people. I don't know what your passion is, but actually we have one life and we should live it adventurously. And there I am, I've used the word should. But I believe we are humans who are driven by meaning and purpose. And these things are significant if we are to avoid burnout. We also have a brilliant tool about thinking systemically. And so I've chosen this quote from Otto Scharmer, who, of course, has written Theory U and various other publications that are well known in the world of leadership development. And he wrote this: the way that we pay attention to a situation, individually and collectively, determines the path that the system takes. Shifting from reactive responses and quick fixes to generative responses that address the systemic root issues is the single most important leadership challenge of our time. As I read this on Samhain in 2020, and I think about the quick fixes of the Boris Johnson government lead on what we should do about COVID, and that England is now in a month-long lockdown, and I think about the more generative responses of Scotland that leads us to have a little bit more freedom in our economy right now for the next month or days, who knows. And actually, there's been a lot of criticism about the knee-jerk responses to COVID and the lack of planning. But actually, the systemic root issues for why it is so awful are about inequality. They are about an unjust world that exploits the planet and does that for a minority to continue to have privilege, shareholder value, security, and doesn't work with the full resources of the planet, doesn't work with equality in mind. And the systemic root issues are needed to be looked at. I have a lot of opinions about what I think are contributions to the solutions, but the well-being economy as a phrase is a simple idea. This video is about the part that you can play. Margaret Wheatley is a great theoretician and practitioner around the new sciences and leadership theory. And in her books around leadership, we have this quote: "We ignore people's need to participate at our own peril. If they're involved, they will create a future that already has them in it. People support what they create." And actually, part of, in Scotland, the yes-no experience of our vote for independence was the Yes campaign, knocking on doors and engaging with people. on your street. And actually, whether you're political or not, the development of dialogue in our society is the development of true democracy. And instead of othering the others and depersonalizing the campaigns and blaming the Tories or the SNP or whoever it is for the mess we're currently in, the reality is we need to engage and develop human relationships. And we already have many human relationships, each of us, and we can support those relationships towards the future that we wish to have. The second quote on here is, life accepts only partners, not bosses. Of course. And, that's why I'm called Duncan Wallace Associates. I operate with partners, many partners, Realise.earth, etc. You can partner with me if you wish. But here's the core theory. Bridges' model talks about the ending zone first, and things need to end. You need to let go. In the 3-horizon model, things need to end. You need to realize that the current horizon is not serving us well. And under lockdown, the first heavy lockdown, many people started to say, we don't want to go back. And they were acknowledging endings. We don't want the way it was. But then you have the neutral zone, or also known as the wilderness zone. And that is a confusing place for many folk. But almost every tradition we know, certainly every religious tradition, I studied religious studies at university, has the wilderness zone as part of the process by which new wisdom comes forward. That's not an easy place. If you're Christian, you might look at the 40 days in the desert, and in other traditions, there are similar ideas of key times of testing of folk or whatever, and it definitely is testing. But actually, new beginnings come. Now, if you're an optimist like me, you start to spot new beginnings too early, maybe, but that's just the new shoots. They could come. That's like planting seeds. They might come. Who's going to notice the seeds of the future? Well, it will be people like me. Now, I might be right, I might be wrong, but between the land of right and wrong, there is a garden, and I will meet you there. The second very important part of Bridges' theory is, he said, in order to actually navigate transition, we as leaders need to help people understand their purpose and our shared purpose, and actually have a really clear basic purpose and the logic behind the change before people can join it. We need a plan. Well, negative capability and other theories show us that life doesn't happen easily with plans. Theory U shows that. But we do need a sense of a plan for today, each day. We need to paint a picture. Many people prefer a picture that's clear. A picture of a future, Scotland in 50 years' time, worldwide travel in 50 years' time, a picture that they feel that they can understand, and let people imagine it before they can commit to it. But each person, all of us, have a part to play, and that's what this video is about. That actually you all are leaders. We are all leaders in our own lives, wherever we are. Just at home, we're leaders with our dogs. My dogs are here by the fire. And actually, we have parts to play that create systemic shifting. If we are playing a supporting part, which is often what I do in my organizational development, I support leaders. I remain in the background with many leaders who've got OBEs or others. And I'm not going to shout about that. It's just the work I do. My part is to support and analyze and think and to train and to coach and all those things. But what is your part? You have a part in this new future of climate change, and this is an emergency. My children quite rightly said to Nicola Sturgeon, there are only a number of years left. And actually, why would you set targets that are beyond those years? We need to be ambitious, set it before those years so that we have some wriggle room if we overshoot? And what if we can't change fast enough? We need to set the target to be quicker than what the scientists are saying politically. So what is your change agent role? I run courses on this using system psychodynamic theory. I'd be very pleased to come and run courses with all of your staff. I've done this in many organizations, or some of your staff, or just your leaders, whoever you think they are. But of course, everybody is a leader. And actually, everybody is a change agent, not just those that are part of Extinction Rebellion like me, or those that run the banking sector, which I also dabble in, or whatever. It's not ours to dictate the role. It is ours to empower each other. So some final thoughts. I intend not to allow the waves of change to knock me off my feet, but instead learning how to ride them. We are amazing creatures as humans. We are amazingly our creative ability gives me great hope. At Samhain, at this time of change, that's a real reality, where thin time meets normal time, and we can think about different dimensions. So what is your role? As you know, geese fly in a classic V shape for all sorts of resilience reasons. Again, I build that into courses. I can tell you about that. You know those metaphors. You see it above you all the time around this time of year and back in the spring. So get in touch. I can work with anyone in your organization and in any way. I'm here. It's easy. The world is more connected than it was 6 months ago. And I have all sorts of associates who can support major events and all sorts of learning programs. I welcome you on this journey with me. And I wish I could welcome you into my house, which is also part of the Scottish Samhain tradition. When we guise, we disguise ourselves, but we go around to our neighbours and we offer a poem or a song. And we offer that poem and song, and then we might get a treat back. We might be offered hospitality. This is the song that I'm currently learning. I don't know how well you will hear this. It is a song composed for this time. And this song by Gavin, a fellow fiddler, is "This Too Will Pass." Of course, Nicola Sturgeon's right to say this COVID stuff will pass. We don't know how long, but the climate emergency will only pass if we all act. And this song can be played slow as a lament, or can be played at a faster speed as a sign of hope in these winter months. I'll put up a recording alongside this. Enjoy your months.